Mr. Crimmins, one of the most important issues in my life right now that I've devoted over 30 years of my life is the border security, and immigrations. A lot of the people that I'm around, a lot of the organizations, everything from California across the United States right now is either pro-immigration or against immigration. There's a lot of very confusing things going on. I've had the privilege of traveling with you into Mexico, and you've been able to speak to the people and speak to the leaders and know the community as what it stands for. I think you've come to the realization that it's not all slums, but there are actually some pretty wealthy people and pretty important businesses at the world level. In the United States, we are very dependent here in the 51st District for people coming across Mexico to do shopping, especially during Christmas time. I imagine the store owners and stuff would like to know, what is your point of view of, for instance, the long border lines, of their stance on illegal immigration, and as a general view, our economic standpoint of what would you like to see happen?
That's a great question. You know, looking at the border, there's so many issues and so many ways of attacking it and addressing it. So I know people want to know how I think about this. And I'm a very pragmatic, commonsensical type person. And where a lot of people have, open borders is one of their philosophies, or the other philosophy is the opposite end, is closed borders. My position is, generally Republicans want cheap labor and Democrats want cheap votes. I'm going to make everybody unhappy because my approach is a little bit different. But let's look at the border itself and the United States as an entity. The United States, just like Mexico, is a sovereign nation. We have every right to build that fence and to surveil it and to man it. That fence is there not to keep people in like the Berlin Wall was in East Germany, but to keep a certain element out of our country. And post 9/11, in the world of terrorism, we really have to worry about who's coming across all of our borders and into all of our ports of entry. So, when you describe a country is described by its borders, its language, its culture, and the whole thing that wraps everything together is its common history. My position is the strength of the United States is immigration, but legal immigration. We need people here to come into our country. And isn't the United States a very fortunate country in our hemisphere that we have friendly neighbors to our north, Canada, and a friendly country to our south, Mexico. And we have two large oceans protecting us, the Pacific and the Atlantic, and also the Gulf of Mexico. The United States is very, very fortunate where we have been placed in the world. And that Mexico is our friends. South of the border, if people want to come up and work in the United States, we should let them come up and work in the United States. But I would like to see the United States produce a tamper-proof ID card for anybody that wants to come up here and work, along with fingerprinting the individual, giving them a DNA swab, and also a retina scan. Why? So that we can track people through the United States, because people are transient and they move around. But 30% of the people that are locked up in federal prisons are from somewhere south of the border, not necessarily Mexico, just south of the border. And a lot of them, are there for violent crimes. Now, everybody that comes north is looking for a better way of life. Whether you're a criminal or a non-criminal, you want to come to the United States and you're looking for a better way of life. With immigration, and it's even on our money, it says e pluribus unum. It's a Latin term, and it means out of many, one. So that is assimilation. We need people to come here, not necessarily throw away their old culture, but regardless of where they're coming from, they're coming to the United States for its freedom and it's for its economic opportunities. So when I was growing up, our society basically had a melting pot where people just became Americans, but they didn't lose their old cultures. However, what have we seen since 1975? We basically, if you look at an analogy of a bag of jelly beans, we have red jelly beans going to one particular area, we have yellow jelly beans in another area, black jelly beans here, white jelly beans over here, and people are not assimilating. And that's going to be, that's a real problem in the United States, because our strength is out of many one, that we become Americans. And we're not hyphenated Americans. We're not Mexican Americans or Guatemalan Americans or Irish Americans. We're Americans of a particular descent.